Well, for my second project, my second house, I wanted to do a log cabin, but I am nowhere near ready to do that with all the notching and everything that my husband told me that I would have to do. So I'm going to just do a basic wooden house with some thin, flat strips that he'd made me. I went ahead and made the base because I know that I'm going to have something to glue it to. I am not a professional. I am not a carpenter. I don't know how to do the inner framing like my husband does. I'm a crafter. So, what I decided to do instead of cutting out the windows, I saw a lady who had just glued the fabric on and then, of course, built the window frames around it. And I thought, well, that's a nice idea. It saves time. Also, I have some old photo album plastic that I'm going to use to make it shine like there's glass there. And I went ahead and made the two side panels because I wasn't sure how that all this was going to work out. So now I'm going to make the long wall in the back, which there's no decoration or windows. It's just what's going to go against the wall. And the house is very narrow or not deep because it's going to be sitting on a shelf. So it's about, I think I did about a 5 inch, no, it's 4.5 inches deep. And so the back wall, I do love the wood. I'm going to keep it that way. I may stain it. But so it's 7 inches across and 4.5 inches deep. I also have a miter saw that my husband gave to me, but it is kind of big for these little pieces of wood. So the scroll saw, I don't really get a completely accurate cut because I'm still learning how to use it properly, but it does the job. And instead of gluing everything to a solid piece of wood, I'm just going to go ahead and add these little braces on there to keep all those little separate pieces together because you're not going to see it anyway. It's going to be inside the house. And again, I'm not a carpenter, I'm a crafter, so I'm just going to make it look pretty and be stable and sturdy. But I'm sure people that actually do very professional woodwork would cringe at everything I'm doing. But this year I've decided to try to be a little bit more specific and measure things instead of just going by my eye or by my sight. And there was a lot of sanding, and this is one of my least favorite things to do is sand. And I realize at this point that the pieces aren't going to butt up together because of the corners and the inner bracing. So now I'm going to have to figure out what else to do. I thought, okay, well, it's not going to go on top of the foundation. Now it's going to have to go around it. And the only thing I could think of was just sticking a beam in there, a miniature beam. And that seemed to work out pretty well. And it covers the corners. And it looked good. So now I'm going to cut some more for all four corners. And there's a lot of repetition. So now I'm going to be measuring for the door and the windows on the front panel. Well, I'm going to call it a day. God bless all of y'all. Stay tuned.